And you see that nothing in your world is changing because you actually haven't fully changed yet. So the moment we look for evidence in our life and we don't see it, sooner or later, most people accept that thought, which leads to the same choice, which creates the same behavior, which creates the same experience, that produces the same feeling. And then they say, oh, this feels right to me. No, that feels familiar, because you've just returned back to the known self. I think that when people truly want to make up their mind to change, and they become so conscious of those unconscious thoughts, they would never go unconscious to them again. That's the moment the body is being reconditioned to a new mind. If you inhibit that choice, that leads to that habit or that behavior. Habit is when you've done something so many times, the body knows how to do it better than the brain. Now you're stopping the body from being on its automation, on autopilot. And if the body's craving the feeling of unworthiness and you're stopping the body from feeling that way, and you're aware in your life how you speak, you're aware in your life how you're feeling, and you're checking in, you're saying, do I really want to feel this way? This is that river of change where you're going from the old self to the new self. So it makes sense then. If those principles in biology work in that way, they could actually work in our favor. So if you said, okay, I'm going to sit down for a few minutes, I'm going to become so conscious of my unconscious self, my unconscious personality, that victory today would not be going unconscious to those thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. Okay, let me get so familiar with them that I don't go unconscious. Okay, I got that down. Now, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain? And if a belief is a thought that you keep thinking over and over again, with intention and with attention, you'll switch on that prefrontal cortex and assign meaning to the act and start installing new circuits in your brain. If you keep doing it over and over again, it becomes more hardwired, it becomes more automatic, and now you're installing a new belief that you are worthy of love, you are worthy of abundance, you are worthy to heal, whatever that is. That's the thought you do want to believe in. And when it matters the most is when it's the hardest. Because if you don't have the circuitry in place, you'll default back to the old programs, right? So then, if you said, how am I going to be in my Zoom calls today? How am I going to be in traffic today? How am I going to be with my ex, my coworkers? And you started thinking about and rehearsing how you were going to act in certain situations. The brain actually doesn't know the difference between the real life experience and what you're imagining. The research on mental rehearsal shows that the brain will look like in time that it's already had the experience and it's vacant of the experience. Now, keep firing and wiring those circuits and you're going to begin to behave that way. So now you're installing circuitry now to use in your life to get your behaviors to match your intentions. If you said, how would it feel to feel worthy of love? How would it feel to be grateful for life? How would it feel to be worthy of abundance? And you said, I'm going to teach my body emotionally what this feels like before the manifestation of the event. You're not waiting for your life to change to feel worthy. You're actually changing your life by becoming worthy. You're generating abundance. You're generating love. You're creating an elevated emotion. Now, our data is so compelling because when you truly begin to elevate your emotional state, and you could really lock in, to those elevated emotions, your body is so objective that it actually believes that it's living in a whole new environment before the environment changes. In other words, the body's believing it's in that new future. And if the environment signals the gene, and it does, and the end product of an experience in the environment is an emotion, you're actually signaling genes ahead of the environment, and your body will begin to become conditioned to a new mind. Now think about this. If you did that every day, the word meditation literally means become familiar with. You become familiar with your old self, you become familiar with your new self, and you say, I'm not getting up until I feel this feeling. And then you'd say, I want to be able to bring this feeling up whenever I want. I'm going to keep remembering this feeling over and over again. It only takes a thought and a feeling, an image of the future and emotion, a stimulus and response, that you can condition your body to believe it's living in a whole new life. And when you feel the emotions of your future, something amazing happens. You're no longer in lack or separation, so you're no longer looking for the event to take away that feeling of lack or separation. Your body's actually believing it's in the event. And so then you're not looking for it, you feel like it's already happened. Get ready, because that's when your life begins to change. And so we've discovered that if you're actually practicing this and you immersed yourself in that experience fully for 7 days, the amount of metabolic and biological changes that will take place in your body will be so significant that your body will actually believe it's living in that future. And yet, most of the people that come to our workshops are literally in a ballroom. There's nothing really exciting happening in the environment, but their body's believing they're living in a whole new life.
Nobody knew how to get a plane off the ground. The world believed it couldn't be done, but the Wright brothers could see it. See, our problem is we think we have to know how it's going to happen. You don't have to know how it's going to happen. That's God's job. Our job is to know what's going to happen.
Right.
And it will be delivered. Seek ye first His kingdom, all these things will be given to us. What things? Whatever things are necessary for the manifestation of the goal. If we can get that right, forget about this. You've got to be realistic.
Right.
See, our paradigm dictates our logic.
Right.
But think of this. Our paradigm produces our results, too. If I'm earning $50,000 a year, my paradigm has me earning $50 a year. For me to earn $50 a month, that's totally illogical. If I want to do better than I'm doing, I'm going to have to think in illogical terms, because my logic is governed by my paradigm. Right. Anything beyond what my paradigm can see is crazy. It's illogical. If my goals are a little nuts, I'm not interested in them.
Okay. But how do I develop the belief that's strong enough that keeps me in pursuit of that?
Understand, if you keep thinking of it, you'll start to believe it.
Okay.
And it's like William James around the turn of the century. He said, believe, and your belief will actually create the fact.
Okay.
And you can write a lie on a piece of paper. If you read it over and over and over again, you're going to start to believe it.
Okay.
And when you believe it, that's when it starts to move into form.
Okay.
We believe lies now, and they're controlling us. We believe that there's lack and limitation in the world. There is no lack and limitation in the world. There's abundance in the world. We believe there's certain things we can't do because we haven't got enough formal education. That's not true. I had 2 months high school. I didn't even try to do anything because I didn't have any formal education. I believed I couldn't get a job because I didn't have any experience. I'm teaching mental health to psychiatrists today. You see, all those beliefs, no foundation.
Right.
You've got to go down a different road than the masses are going down. If you want to really live the way God intended to live. Steve Bowe says God's gift to us is more talent and ability than we'll ever hope to use in our lifetime. Our gift to God is to develop as much of that talent and ability as we can in this lifetime. You're not going to do that believing what the masses believe.
Right.
If you can see it, you can hold it in your hand. Stella Mann said, if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand.